is because of the broken family, you know. And it's not to say that if you come from one, like, it's horrible, but no, it's just what people come to today is that it's all about me. It's all about me and what makes me happy and what makes me comfortable, and the whole idea of sacrifice has decided to leave, right? So if we go back to the beginning, the purpose of the relationship, right? The purpose of the relationship and how God intended it to be. All right? So who can tell me about the first relationship that ever existed? Adam and Eve, right? So how did that relationship start? Rib. Kidneys. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Seriously. All right, we'll take kid. No, we'll do. We'll keep it rib. Yeah. So that first relationship, it started with, so we can understand the purpose of the relationship to begin with. The first ever relationship that ever existed wasn't that of Adam and Eve, but with Adam and God. Right? Adam and God was the first relationship ever to exist. And why do I mention that is because this is the first part of the engagement. Yeah? When I propose to someone and I get onto this journey with them, I actually first must establish the first relationship Adam ever had, which was Adam and God. Right? After Adam and God were good, yeah? Adam and God were good. In the garden, things were going well. Then what did God give to Adam? He gave Adam Eve. The first relationship that you must get right before you even think of the engagement, right, is the relationship between yourself and God. Yep.
How was along the relationship with Adam and God? How long did it last before he created him?
I don't know. It didn't give me yeah, we could. You want to give a number? What number do you want to give? Let's say 19 years, 20 years, 21 years, 22 years. How will we call it? How we can give it any number you want.
Because God felt bad for him and he's like, let's create a companion for him.
Correct. But the thing was that Adam was good with God. Yeah? Right? Adam was really, really good with God. Because Adam was created in that state that God intended him to be, in this pure, this great state where his focus was his relationship with God. And that relationship with God, as I mentioned it, he walked with God in the garden. He talked to him. He wasn't ashamed. Right? So his relationship with God was excellent. It wasn't something that was broken. Right? Let's keep that in mind. Then he gave Adam Eve. Once he gave Adam Eve, the relationship became Adam and Eve with God. Yeah? And when Adam got Eve, he was romantic and he said sweet things that you hear at every reception. My love, flesh of my flesh, bones of my bones. The first romantic was Adam, not Shakespeare, bro. Let's get things straight, yeah? Adam was just so obsessed with Eve. Yeah? Beautiful, beautiful relationship. So he said those sweet things. Then the serpent comes, and what does the serpent do? He gets in between who? Adam and Eve. He separates them. Yeah, first thing he does, he gets Eve on her own. Eve gets tempted. She eats of the fruit. Then Adam eats of the fruit. Then they hide from God. They hide from God. And it's just like this, what hide and seek with God, and God's saying, where are you? But he knows where they are. Right? What happens next? Yeah, what an idiot. First he says, my love, I can't live without you. The next thing, bro, it's her. She's the one that did it. And now you, like, it's not my fault. Gone from what? I love you with all my heart, flesh of my flesh, to God, bro, look what you gave me. Straight up fix this, And this is the battleground. This is where we're going to begin. Right? The whole importance of this engagement period is to truly test yourself, you and your partner, with God. Because it's about testing your ego, testing your love for that person, and being in a position where you have to give without getting anything in return. Yeah? You have to give without giving anything in return. Being in a relationship is actually the most humbling thing a person can do. Because when we push ourselves to that point where we're like, I can't give nothing, we want to be Adam with God, not Adam without God. We want to be Adam with God and saying, thank you, God. Flesh of my flesh, bones of my bones. Not, God, what did you give me? Big difference. That's what the engagement period in the church is all about. It's about that test of the relationship in front of God. Because people say, well, in our church, why do we do the engagement in the church? Or why do we have a priest present? I'll just pop the question, put it on an Insta, people comment, we're all good, now let's just get married. The engagement, the reason why our church places the importance of the priest, and more importantly, if you can, doing it in the church, is because you are starting this journey the same way Adam and Eve did in front of God. And you're asking God to be present in the middle of it as we walk towards forever. Because the biggest misconception, we look at things through rose-petal glasses and we get caught up in all the emotion and all the love that we forget our purpose. The minute you forget your purpose is the minute the relationship is going to fail. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be the day after, week after, month after, year after, but it will fail. Because the reason why it fails, the person that forgets that God is the reason for their existence of the relationship, the existence of themselves, will eventually become selfish, will eventually grow ego, and once they get to that point of ego and selfishness, you have just put poison in the relationship. It's truly about testing. Truly about putting things on the fire. About fighting about things that mean nothing. Right? Let's play a game, right? Who can tell me the biggest things people fight about in the engagement? Take a guess. When people are engaged, what do they fight about? Wedding. Oh, yeah, it's like a curse, isn't it? Yeah. It is. What about the wedding? Yeah, venue, day, who's going to be there? What else? Pardon? Paying, yeah, who's going to pay for it? I'm the girl, I shouldn't be paying anything. That's my favourite. Yeah. What else? I'm the prize. That's another one. Yeah. What else? What else?
Who takes the lead?
Yeah, who takes, who wears the pants, who's the boundaries who was set, what we can do, what we can't do, right?
Would we say family when we get
100%. My dad doesn't like her dad because her dad looked at him wrong when they first met. Or when we rocked up to the house, he only brought a fruit platter. Is my daughter only worth a fruit platter?
Does this actually exist or?
I promise you, I'm not joking. To this day, yeah, honest, straight. Like I'm telling you, parents are coming to me. They came to my house with just. It's pretty embarrassing. What else? And that could be one, yeah. The boundaries of the relationship. There are so many things that happen, right? So many things like they just come up and test, and you forget the focus and the reason why you're doing all of this. And this is like from venue to what I'm wearing to my family, to your family, to boundaries and being set in this place where you're like, okay. And you're going to think consistently, right? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? It's a very because before I met her or before I met him, life was good. I'll go to work, go to uni, look after myself. Didn't have to worry about 1,000 things. If I was tired, I can go home and sleep. I didn't have to go all the way to her house and pick her up. Like you start to test yourself. Why am I giving this much to this person? These are the tests that you actually have to face. Take your engagement period after meeting this person really, really serious. Take it and fight. Take it and argue. Take it and push boundaries. Know the person that you're going to get married to. And really think about, why am I marrying this person? The reason will give you every answer that you're looking for. But that first truly becomes when you have to face yourself with God. When you sit with God and go, God, you've given me this person to be my companion in this marriage with you, in this relationship with you. What am I doing? Because we can be upfront and honest as much as we want. God, I'm with this girl because she's hot. You know, she's got the goods. I'm with this girl because she's the most popular one at church. I'm with this guy because he's got the most money out of everyone that I know. I'm with this guy because he, out of everyone in my life, he treats me okay. We actually have to be honest with each other and have that honest conversation, because those reasons that are lustful, those reasons that are due to things that they have, possessions, at the end of the day, they all go. Look for someone that is going to fight for you, for who you are, who's going to fight because in you, they see this relationship with God going to heaven. Because all of these things that we talk about, right, that we have, come to an end, but that person is what stays. Yeah?
How do you try and separate seeing what they're bodily, not body, but the characteristics as opposed to their relationship with God, or their, how do you see through their physical characteristics?
Because we'll get to that, because it's a very important question, because it's the first thing I look at, right? The first thing that makes me attracted to a person is what I see, yeah? But after that, what happens? Yeah, because a person's character can make them really ugly very, very quickly. Yeah, it can really make them ugly very, very, very quickly. So the first thing that we do in the engagement period is set boundaries, right? Because that's the first thing God did to Adam. He put Adam in the garden. He could not leave the garden, correct? He says, you are to rule this garden, and you are to do 1, 2, and 3. And when Eve came, he said, great. You can stay in this garden, but do not eat from this tree, lest you die. First rule is that I set this boundary where we have this honest conversation about what we can do and what we can't do, what makes me feel uncomfortable, what doesn't make me feel, what makes me feel comfortable, what I think about this and what I don't think about that. It's about having honest conversation. Yeah? First thing. And the more honest conversation that you have, the more you understand the person and the more you start to see who they really are from the inside. Second thing, right? Understanding their love language. Yeah? Why do I say that? Because understanding their love language is understanding what you'll be giving them for the rest of their life. Right? Am I able to give this person what they need? Am I able to sustain the love that they require to be in this relationship? Yeah? So is it gifts, acts of service, words of affirmation? Understanding these things actually helps you understand who they are. Yeah? Third thing, understanding their family. Because that's where they've come from. Their family is an important part of who they are. I'll share a quick story about that, right? And it's with me and my wife. I've come from a big family, and my family lived with family, so there's about 10, 11 of us, 12 of us living in the house. My wife, only child, there's only 3 of them living in the house. My house is like a hotel. Whoever wants to come in, eat, sleep, it's all good. My wife had 2 people visit her every year. That's it. My first big argument with my wife was having an open door policy. Who can come in, who can come out? She goes, no, no one can come in. This is our house. I'm like, bro, what a weirdo, you know? Like, what's wrong with you? And it was a conversation that we had to have. But once I got to know her family in like real depth, which I should have done when I was engaged and spent time with her, I wouldn't have had that argument. I understand that you're uncomfortable with this. And she'll be like, I understand that your family is like this. Right? Which then allowed us to compromise and say, I'll give and you give and we'll meet in the middle. Or I can't give this or I can't give that. And we come to a compromise. Right? Her being an only child was again something very difficult. I've got 2 brothers, 1 sister. Right? And the idea of just sharing was foreign to her. Quick example. Like when I would come home, whatever food you saw, you ate. Yeah? And if you didn't eat quick enough, you didn't eat. Quite simple. And if you're eating too slow, people are going to scab off your plate. That's just the way, seagulls. That's just the way it works at my house. With my wife, she'll take her time. And if I put my fork on her plate, she goes, don't touch my food, please. right? And it wasn't until she came to my house and stayed a few nights at my house after we got married. And this is a true story. It was about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. We came home and she had pizza and she put it on the stove. She went to bed, woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So 3 hours passed to get some water from the kitchen. The pizza was gone. She goes, who ate the pizza? I go, well, that's my house. But again, like for her, it was a big shock. But understanding each other's families actually helps you understand the person, right? The fourth thing is putting yourselves in real life situations, understanding each other's lifestyle, yeah? And talking about things that are important to you. For example, if church is important to you, you have to let that be known from the beginning, right? Because we have, especially us Christians, we have a hero complex. Yeah, they don't really go to church, but I'll bring them. If we're not here to force people to do things, yeah? If I love serving people and I love serving at church, it's a big part of my life, and they don't like doing it, I guarantee it's going to be an argument. I guarantee if they don't like going to church every week, it's going to be an argument in your marriage. These are the times where you get these things out. Are they a churchgoer? Then in my engagement, I expect them to go to church every week. And it's not something unfair. If I have family dinners every Sunday, for example, and it's something that I expect them to do it every Sunday. Things that are core to who you are, don't bend. Right? But don't tell me like hanging out with the boys every couple of nights is, I have to, if I don't do it, I'm going to die. And girls don't tell me, oh, if I don't do my nails every two weeks and I don't look this way, I can't leave the house. No, talking about real things. Yeah? Real things that actually make you who you are. Alright? The fifth thing is truly building that friendship between you two. Because the scariest part of marriage, which no one really talks about, is the loneliness both of you feel once the wedding's done, the reception's done, the honeymoon's done, and you're at home by yourselves for the first time. Where you sit there and it's just you two. And people actually really feel this loneliness. Building that friendship and things in common, things that you can do together, things that you can explore together, real conversation is key. Right? So setting those boundaries, continuing that relationship with God, finding each other's love languages, understanding their family, and the fifth thing, building that friendship. Because all of these things, right, attribute to that one person, that core of that person, who they really are. Do not get caught up in the excitement of things. It's beautiful, of course it is. Don't get caught up in what could be and what should be. Don't get caught up on what you think this person can be. You know, one of the biggest danger words when I hear it when a couple comes to me or when I sit with them individually, when they go, this person's got potential. Big X. Yeah? You're marrying that person for who they are now. So if they're doing things that you don't like now, and you say to yourself, once we get married, it's going to stop. Oh, once we have kids, he's not going to do that. Who you marry now, who you see now, that's who they're going to be. Yeah? We don't gamble with this. And that's the hardest bit of it. Because we always think about what could be, not the reality. And that's the hardest thing about the engagement. And that's why it's so important, this aspect of God being in the middle of it, because it helps you what? Keep real. God keeps you real. Because you can't hide from God, can you? Can anyone hide from God? Can anyone hide what they do from God? Who they really are? You can't. That's why God being in the middle of it from the very, very, very beginning keeps the relationship honest and real. Because if everyone follows God in the correct way, not in the way that you think is right, yeah? And I really mean that, not in the way you think like, well, this is okay and this is not okay. The church is a bit weird about this. Well, that was back in 1955 when they used to go to church on horses. Like, no. Follow church in its legitimate way that it's asking you to follow God. And if both of you keep honest to that, the relationship will always work. But the minute you start taking shortcuts with God and not being honest with each other and not being honest with yourself, what are you doing? You're being selfish. Complete and utter selfish. Because you're after your own comfort rather than the comfort of others. Yeah.
General, according to science, men are more like logical, the women are just emotional.
Yeah.
Depends on their hormones and how they feel. How do you supposed to negotiate a topic when they're not in the right mindset? Like you believe something is right and she believes it's nonsense and you just want to convince her what you're thinking.
And to her, what you believe is nonsense, and what to her, she's right. So it's all right. The first thing, if we get into an argument, yeah.
Because sometimes we're very logical. We just think with logic, but to them it's about their emotions and feelings and how they're feeling today. Maybe today they're not feeling well, like feeling good. They're gonna be like, I'm not gonna do it because I don't feel like it.
Okay. The first thing a man needs to do is shut up. Yeah. The first thing a man needs to do is shut up. Not talk, yeah? I'm being dead serious, yeah?
That's for our own safety, yeah?
No, honest. Straight up, the first thing, like one of the first big arguments I had, I rang my confession father and I did the Adam thing. Look what you did to me, yeah? He gets to me, go back to her and shut your mouth, don't speak. And just listen, yeah? Listen to what she has to say. The minute you listen to her and not try solve her issue, yeah, then things will move. But for me as a man, she'll go to me, my boss at work does this to me and he does that to me and I hate working there, it makes me anxious and yada yada yada. Me, I gotta tell him off and quit your job and find another one. Yeah? Simple. But she doesn't want to hear that. She wants to hear that I got you. No matter what happens, I'm going to be next to you. Right? And by you doing that, you build trust with her. She's not going to do what you want because you think it's right. She's going to do what you want because she trusts you. Big difference. Does that make sense?
To a certain extent.
Yeah. Because the thing is that what we do is that we want to go somewhere You go, that's the logical thing to do, yada, 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 etc., etc., etc. And you could be 1,000% right. But it's not about being right. It's about going wherever we're going together. Does that make sense?
Because some stuff are like silly to us. To them it's a big deal.
And there's some things that are big deal but there's some things that are big deal to you that mean nothing to her. Yeah?
So you're supposed to react, my boss is, oh my God, what
No, it's not about, oh my God.
you feel like a guilt.
No, it's not about being a girl. It's like this. This is what I do. When she's frustrated, I hold a water bottle and I do this. Tell me more.
Yeah, it's just about listening.
Honest to God. And every time I want to jump in and go, you're being stupid. Oh, tell me more. Yeah? I'm being serious. Every time you feel like you're going to say something stupid, tell me more.
What about there's no one around you?
No, but then, but it just literally, it's just about that whole idea of not breaking her, letting what she needs to get out. Of course. And she'll do the same for you. Yeah? Because once you build that trust with her, things become easy. Yeah? Building that trust for her, then when you go, hey, let's do this instead, she goes, all right, no worries. Because she knows, even if she goes that way, yeah, she can still talk to you about it. Does that make sense? Because the worst thing we do is like, no conversation, that's what we're doing, I don't want to hear it, you don't know what you're talking about. Right? We can do like that, or we can go, hey love, we're going to go this way. I trust you. But what's going to happen if we do this? Well, we'll work it out. But I just got a good feeling about this. Does that make sense? Because the thing is, we always make that mistake of trying to assert dominance. Yeah? But that dominance means what? Do you get what I'm saying? It's different, yeah?
You know how you said that if you have a fool, don't make the fool, don't change.
Yeah.
Would you expect your partner to adapt and make that their core as well, or are they expected to appreciate and respect?
So it depends on what core you're talking about, yeah? So for example, what a core is to you could be different what a core is to her, yeah? But if we're talking about in the Christian concept, that core is God. Yeah?
And they'll have to be their core as well?
1,000,000%. If God is 100% in your life, and God is 50% in your life, in her life, for example, right? You have 50% to make up. Yeah? So for example, it's like when a common thing that happens is someone asks you, oh, mate, can you really, really help me? Yeah? And the Christian and the God within you is saying, all right, I'll help you. Even if this person's done you wrong 1,000,000 times. But the Christian within you is telling you, I need to help because that's the right thing to do. Yeah? Your wife will be like, if she's with you on the same page with God, I don't like it, but I love how kind you are. Yeah? Oh, why are you being a dumbass for? What are you doing this for? That makes no sense. She has hatred in her heart because you're helping. Does that make sense? Yeah. How the core needs to be the same. Correct. Because if you're on different paths, you could be all good, right? But then eventually, it's going to explode. It's inevitable. But when your core is the same, right? And you have difference of opinions, because I want to give everything to her and she wants to give everything to me, we'll be fine. We'll disagree, but it'll be a disagreement on like, look, I don't understand why you do that. Not like, what are you doing? You're an idiot. Big difference.
And just one other thing, you said that the person they are now is the person that you're going to marry in the future.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Because I see myself as someone that's continuously changing, trying to grow.
100%.
So I don't think I'll be the same person when I'm as I am now to when I'll be when I'm 18.
Okay, so for example, say you're an angry person now. Yeah? You get really, really angry. Right? But you hide that. And you're growing and you're becoming a better person, etc., etc., etc. You can't hide that forever. Does that make sense? Yeah? Even though you've grown and you're become a better person, there's things within you that you can only hide for so long.
What if you make a conscious effort to try and fix that all that?
But you can make a conscious effort all your life to try change certain things of you. Yeah? But just imagine, and it happens all the time. Yeah? A couple get to know each other, it's all good, and they just say all these things that make sense, but they just get on with it and yada yada. And they live a successful life and happy, but it gets to a point where he gets to his lowest point, which is always going to happen, yeah, because it's life, you know. You know, and then all of a sudden his true nature comes out. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's about understanding them that their worst you can deal with. You have to understand that, because they like dealing with them at their best is easy. True? Dealing with them at their worst is the hardest thing you'll ever have to do. And if I don't accept how they are at their worst, yeah, then it's not going to work. Because you can't hide that. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah. Because it's like, if you don't reveal that to that person, you're lying to them. Yeah.
When you say like at their worst, what if like in that nature period you don't see that and it doesn't happen until after?
But it happens. That's one of the biggest problems, you know. But there's ways to get around that. Yeah. So having honest conversation. So like, for example, I told my wife, I go, look, for me, there's sometimes I get really, really impatient. After long days, I'm intolerable to be around. Yeah? And she's like, yeah, it's fine. All of us get like that. And during our engagement, I never revealed that to her. It wasn't until I got married and we lived in the same place, and I couldn't turn off my phone and go to sleep. You know, she's next to me in bed. You know, but me understanding her, me saying that and communicating, I go, these are the worst things about me. It's a very like hard thing to talk about, but you build that up in conversation. First, get to know them. Yeah, I like this about them. They like this about me, and things are going good. But it's about the discovery. You know, tell me a bit about you. Like, what makes you tick? What makes you angry? What makes you upset? What things can you live without? What things you can't live without? You know, what are your icks? What are the things that you look at and you go, yuck, I can't do it. So you understand that when these things, when the worst of them happens, it's not a shock, it's about, okay, it's okay. You know? Because if you know that you can't live with something, yeah, and then you go, it's all right, I'll just deal with it when I have to deal with it, you're going to bring out an ugly side of yourself too. Yeah. You need guidance, you need proper guidance, because some of the boundaries that we have sometimes are unreasonable. Yeah, like, honestly, like, because some of the boundaries are unrealistic. Yeah, 100%. Because what happens is that sometimes we become intolerable about certain things and yada yada, then we throw something out that's really, really good for a dumb reason. Like,
What if, can I just give an example? What if like a big one, like a purity boundary, for example, and because you're in that engagement period, they want to push a bit more, but you're not willing to go past that.
then it's a conversation saying, if you want to sleep with me before, but that goes against core Christianity, doesn't it? Does that make sense? There's things that are like core.
That's not negotiable.
Does that make sense? And if both of you are in the same, believe in the same God, view God the same way, or have this unique relationship with God, and it's in the church, and like I said, it's not about picking and choosing, yeah, then what happens? Those tough conversations don't really need to be had, yeah? Then it becomes about choosing a person within God that I can walk on this journey with. And that's what I mean by like, do not falter on God in the relationship, because God sets a clear boundary about what we can and can't do. Like keeping the relationship godly actually sets nearly 95% of the boundaries that you need to have. You know, purity boundaries, personal boundaries, things that I can do, things that I can't do. Respect, love, kindness, long-suffering, patience. It sounds easy. I know it sounds like I'm just running it off like, yeah, look at me, I know what I'm doing. No, but it's hard. But having those things in place keeps me in check. So then when I get into an argument with her, or she gets an argument with me, I don't blame her, I look at myself first. I should have been more patient with her. I should have been more kind with her. I should have done more to show her that I loved her. Yeah? And she goes, I shouldn't have been so pushy. I should have just waited till he calmed down. You know, all of a sudden, when we're both on that same trajectory and that same kind of wavelength, how everything starts to what? Make sense and, right? So it's really, really in this place where you truly have to understand that this is what we need to work on to make the relationship work. Yeah? Yeah.
You mentioned like people's like these issues, people holding on to like the potential of someone. What if it's like they show you that they can be up to it and they have before, but then over time, you know, like things decline? Are you still holding on to potential even if they show you that they can do it?
Because then it goes back to, are you okay with leaving them at their worst? Does that make sense? Because I'm okay, yeah, if you accept them at their worst, then go for what they can be, yeah? Because you've accepted them for who they are to be, right? Does that make sense? Because if their core, their worst is something that you can live with, then everything else is going to be fine. Because it's human nature. It's impossible for people to keep like reaching this potential that you think that they can. Yeah, so like, just give you a small example, like spiritually. Like during Lent, we're going good, I'm fasting, I'm doing all the good things, I'm going to church every week, I'm serving and yada yada. And then I fall into sin again, and I go back into old habits. I might stay there for 6 months, for example. Then I go back to confession, and I start to realise what I'm doing was wrong. And then I slowly get slowly get back up. Does that make sense? So like, it's not about going, well, I look at this person and I only see the potential in them, but I needed to know what their baseline is. And that can only be done through experiences. Experiencing things with them, going out with them, seeing them with their family, seeing them with their friends, seeing them understand like how they are with work, how they are with pressure, how they are with money. Does that make sense? By you expanding your experiences with them, you start to put the picture together. But if your relationship is based on, hey, dinners, having fun and whatnot, you're only seeing 20% of them, 30% of them? Then how could you make a 100% decision when you're only seeing 30%? So in that period, search for experiences. See them at church, see them with their friends, see them with their family, see them as much as you can in different places. Because that's when you get to see who they really are. But if you just narrow in and you close the world on just you two, you're not seeing anything. Because once you're settled and you're comfortable, what's going to happen? Your true self is going to come out. So get comfortable as quickly as possible so that your truth can come out. Because the quicker that you're truthful with each other, the quicker you know if this relationship is right for you or wrong for you. Does that make sense? Yeah. Any more questions? So really take this time to understand that the core of the relationship is based on God. And it's not something that I'm saying just because it's what the church has told me to say, because it's actually truth. Yeah? Any successful relationship, even those that are not in the church or not that of God, right? The success in the relationship is based on Christian principles. Yeah? Knowing your boundaries, sacrificing for each other, being the best that you can be with your partner. Me giving everything to them and them giving everything to me. Yeah? That way I don't need to look after myself. Yeah? Because she's doing everything she can to look after me and I'm doing everything I can to look after her. Right? And once you find that person, don't let them go. But don't be that person that looks at the physical appearance, because one day they're going to be old and they're not going to look the same. Yeah? Yeah? 100%. One day they might not earn the money that they're earning. One day they might not have the friends that they have. One day they might not have the life that you thought you'd have. One day everything could change and it's just you and your partner. So your partner is the most important thing. Not your situation, not what's going on, not what happens, not where we could be, not what we've done, but being with that person and being able to be with that person consistently and constantly, being able to talk to them, being able to share things, being able to open up to things, being able to have honest and hard conversations, that's the person that you want to be with. And that's what the engagement period is there for. So do not make the engagement period about just planning for a wedding, but make the engagement period about planning for your life. Yeah?
Is there much difference in sort of like the things you should be doing in terms of like testing the other person, between like testing to see what their sort of eyes and nose are, between like the dating and the engagement, or is it just sort of all the same?
No, but again, searching for those experiences. Yeah? Because the thing is that like testing, it's like that. Some guys I grew up with, they had this test, yeah? They'll take a girl out, they go, we're going to this nice fancy restaurant, yada yada yada. And in the first 15 minutes of the date, they'll tip something on her and see how she reacts. Yeah? And if she acts, oh my God, why'd you do that? Yada yada yada. Wrong. But if I did it to my wife now, I'd cop a slap, you know, like straight up I would. You know what I mean? Doesn't make her she's a bad person, but it's just through the experiences, you know? So like, it's not about like, she's not going to be perfect, yeah? But I love all of these things about her, yeah? But I can only find out those things through experiences. Like when I see her with my brothers and sisters, how she acts with them, how respectful she is to my parents, how much she's willing to help people. Yeah? Yeah.
Are there any sort of like major differences between dating and engagement?
100%. Because dating is just you getting to know someone. Engagement, you're planning.
It's not
You're
planning.
you're literally planning your life. Yeah?
But should you not be starting it during dating?
Well, you can. You could, but the thing is that would you open a shared bank account with someone that you're dating?
But like in terms of like get like the deep getting to know part.
Yeah, but again, you're limited with experiences when you're dating. Does that make sense? Because when you're dating, that's when you get serious. Like when you, for example, I could say to you, no, I'm not tight with money, and I buy things out, take things out with you, yada, yada. And then when we get engaged and we're planning our engagement, for example, go, I'm not spending money on that. You know, does that make sense? Or I don't want to do that, it's silly. Yeah? Or she'll be like, I want to do this because she done that. And you know that she's someone that's like what? About money. Or she could be someone that, like, for example, that cares about people's opinions. Yeah? Which is not a bad thing, but can you live with that? Or she's someone that always looks at others. She's never satisfied with what she got. Does that she always looks outside before she looks in. She's not grateful. Does that make sense? You can't really discover that completely when you date because you're not really planning anything. But it's through that planning process where you're able to see things for what they really are. Does that make sense? So that's why the engagement period, and like a lot of priests that I speak to say, like, for some people the engagement period is so much harder than their marriage. Because a lot of things get tested in the engagement period. Yeah? So really take that part serious when you get to know someone to date. Yeah, I really like this person, whatnot. I think I want to take this further. Then when you start to plan, everything comes out.
How long should the engagement period be? Like, I know you can't put an actual period.
So,
More than 12 months, less than 3 years?
it depends on your age, where you guys are at. If you guys are at the same stage of life, you know. So like for me, this is my personal opinion. Like if you're both working and as short as possible, yeah, 6 to 12 months max. If you're younger, you're still studying, you're not established yet, then a bit longer.
6 months even, would you say that's enough actually?
But the thing is that because you know how you were saying to me, like, who you are is always, but once a guy gets to 27, 28, 29, 30, they're pretty consistent in who they are. Once a girl gets to 23, 24, they're pretty consistent in who they are. So you'll know pretty quickly. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because you're old enough, you've seen enough, you know what you want, you're pretty direct, so things become a bit easier. You know, like I got engaged and married to my wife in 1.5 years, 2 years. Like got to know her from first date to wedding was 2 years. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because we're both older, we both knew what we wanted. Things doesn't make things that were easy, but it was just more of a place where we were like, no, we're not gonna leave it. We're gonna keep working together. Does that make sense? So it's all about your individual circumstances. Of course, that's part of it, you know. But that's something. It's not a one answer fits. You need to sit and actually get guidance on it. Yeah. Nice. No. No worries. Name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God, amen. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us here today, Lord, to learn something about you. As we continue this Lent, may we be reminded that you are everything that we need, and without you, we have nothing. May you be in the midst of everything that we do in all our relationships. And may we be reminded constantly that you are the goal and you are the reason for that we are alive. Through the intercessions of Saint Mary, the Mother of God, Saint Mary, Saint Mina, Pope Kyrillos, and Saint Marina, hear us, we pray thankfully, saying, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil through Jesus Christ our Lord, for thine is the kingdom, power, and glory forever. May the love of God, the Father, the grace of His only begotten Son, Lord God and Savior Jesus Christ, communion and gift, Lord, be with you all, go in peace, with the peace of the Lord be with you all. All right, bro. How's things?
Good, how are you?
Good. We're booked in the church, bro.
Is this your first time here?
Yeah.
It's not, is it?
Because I've